Hi, this is Christopher Baxter. I've been a part of Tergar since my first experience with Mingyur Rinpoche in the late summer of 2007, 2 years before there officially was a Tergar International. He was teaching at a weekend seminar in Hartford, Connecticut, and I was immediately attracted to his playful intelligence, his depth of knowing, and open, generous spirit. With maybe 50 of us in the room, Rinpoche awakened in me stillness, smiles, silence, laughter, meditative awareness, joy, peaceful presence, wonder, and many other naturally inspiring experiences. One of my great highlights was, during a break, watching Rinpoche lightly rest his hands on my very pregnant daughter's belly and invoke a blessing for her and her unborn daughter with a softly spoken mantra, then gently touching her crown and holding her gaze for a moment. This was followed by all three of us sharing big-eyed, wide smiles. In those days, it was still possible to have a private interview with Rinpoche, and during my 15 minutes, he suggested I attend his next summer Mahamudra retreat at the Garrison Center. During that retreat, I was even more deeply moved by his humor, his warmth, brilliance, and natural inspiration, and I began to meet and know some of his students. Tim, Court, Mioshin, and Edwin were all down-to-earth, unpretentious, just relatable folks with open hearts and personalities. Having been around other spiritual teachers and gurus, I was relieved at the absence of exoticism or air of specialness. There was no sense of hero worship or exaggerated comments that I had seen in the entourage of other teachers. Rinpoche students related to him in a very easy, normal, relaxed, yet wonderfully respectful way. That kind of closeness to a teacher was very appealing to me. I remember talking to Court as he was selling Rinpoche's just-released book, The Joy of Living, and enjoying how approachable he was. I was also touched by the down-to-earth devotion of one of my roommates, Justin Kelly, who years later became my teacher as director of the Tergar Institute in Kathmandu. When I finally returned home to St. Augustine, Florida, I immediately began telling my yoga students about this extraordinary teacher and his teachings. The Buddhist book club I had started a few years earlier quickly changed into a Mingyur Rinpoche group, and I made up curriculum based on chapters from The Joy of Living. 15 to 20 of us would regularly gather to read, contemplate, study, and practice together. A couple years later, Tergar began supporting us with the long-awaited Joy of Living curriculum. I felt great relief and gratitude to finally have a developmental learning track overseen by Rinpoche himself, beautifully articulated and sequenced, that integrated core Buddhist principles, practices, and daily life applications within a secular framework. In addition, the opportunity to have a place and dependable people for regular contact, for questions, for requests and suggestions, for mentoring and steady support, all of this was extraordinarily helpful. Over the years, many wonderful teachers came to St. Augustine, including Tim, Mioshin, Edwin, and even Khenpo Kunga. And many of us annually traveled to Minneapolis to attend a week-long, 2-week, and even a month-long retreat with Rinpoche. Most of us took refuge and began regular practices in Joy of Living and Path of Liberation. One of my bright retreat memories was in an interview with Rinpoche, asking him if I could be a student. He leveled his gaze at me, paused, and with some gravity began to describe the various ceremonial articles that would be needed, the offerings I would have to gather, the scriptures and mantras that would need to be prepared and memorized, the special garment I must have, the ritual preparations required of all the monks and nuns who would have to attend, and all kinds of various other implements and symbolic Tibetan articles. When I thought of this vast network of complex responsibilities, I felt I was on the verge of either swooning or withdrawing my request. And then I saw him grinning from ear to ear as he delighted in my horrified look. Slapping his leg with laughter and waving away my anguish and discomfort, he cheerfully said, "Of course you can be my student." I still smile remembering that. Many of the folks who were in this Sangha in St. Augustine in the beginning are still connected. Although I moved away 10 years ago, I am still warmly touched when I frequently Zoom in twice weekly, see dear Sangha brothers and sisters online, join in Nectar of the Path and Joy of Living sessions, and occasionally support others by leading sessions myself. These Tergar gatherings remain highlights of my week. The Tergar community, Dharma teachings, and Rinpoche remain at the core of my life. I'm forever grateful that I can offer my gifts and openly receive the life-enriching benefits of this profound yet playful community, benefiting me and all those that I meet.